Wait, I'm having a vision. Child actors don't look the same when they're adults. Whoa! That's wild! Welcome to Beyond the Screen, I'm Nate, and today we're breaking down the top 10 unrecognizable Disney stars. Number 10. Zac Efron. Zachary David Alexander Efron rose to Disney fame when he starred as Troy Bolton in the classic High School Musical. He played the basketball player turned theater kid, and for some reason, that was a big deal to everybody. I mean, I don't get it, I was a theater kid and I've literally had two basketball players pretend to be a seesaw and hoist me into the air. Bless their hearts, I was and still am too heavy for that kind of shenanigans. He went on to have an extremely successful career. While his films haven't always been the most lucrative, Zac himself has been a consistently solid performer, from films like Charlie St. Cloud to his most recent flick, Gold. One thing that hasn't been consistent, however, is his face. In 2013, Zac was running through his house when he slipped in his socks and hit his chin on a granite fountain. Hey man, we've all been there. According to Zac, his chin bone was hanging off of his face. He had to have his mouth wired shut and had been undergoing physical therapy up until 2019. Many fans noticed Zac's face getting just a bit puffy recently. Not really in a bad way though, just in like a way that has made him unrecognizable to High School Musical maniacs. He addressed rumors of him undergoing surgery and explained that it was the result of breaking one of the original rules of parenthood. Don't run around the house! Number 9. Miley Cyrus. In 2006, the world was introduced to the popular Disney sitcom Hannah Montana. It starred Miley Cyrus as the titular character, living a double life between being Hannah the pop sensation and Miley Stewart, the new girl from Tennessee that just wants a normal life as a teenager. Miley played herself on the show for 4 seasons before making a Hannah Montana movie and leaving Disney entirely. She appeared in a handful of movies before leaving the acting world behind to focus on her solo music career. In 2016, Miley revealed her new look to the world. She was sprouting short blonde hair, tattoos, and she was in her birthday suit on a wrecking ball. Quite the fashion move. After a few years, she slowly began to shift back to her more natural look and was recently in an interview looking youthful and full of energy again. Miley has been a successful musician since leaving her Hannah Montana days in the dust and seems to be slowly getting back into the acting world now following her voiceover role on the popular Netflix series Black Mirror, one of the best shows Netflix has ever produced. Number 8. Lindsay Lohan. Lindsay is a Disney star who never actually appeared in a sitcom or TV series. She got her start acting at just the age of 3, starring in over 60 TV spots and commercials for brands like Gap, Pizza Hut, and Jell-O. She got her big break when Disney casted her to play 2 roles in the classic family comedy The Parent Trap. She played twin sisters Hallie Parker and Annie James, who randomly meet at a summer camp and discovered that their parents split them up when they were babies following a divorce. The twins then hatch a plot to get mom and dad back together, and it is delightful. Her career only seemed to rise from there, starring in several cult classics like Freaky Friday with Jamie Lee Curtis and Mean Girls as the main character Katie Heron. Unfortunately, her career took a step in the wrong direction when she was arrested in 2007 for driving under the influence of a controlled substance, for which she served 84 minutes in jail. Just minutes! Some people spend years in jail, but Lindsay was like, we'll give her a warning. Until 2022, her career was at an abrupt standstill, and Lindsay decided to take that time to make some cosmetic adjustments. She got some work done to herself, and the Lindsay that we grew up with is now trapped behind a thin layer of silicone. Number 7. Moises Arias. Another former Hannah Montana star, Moises is probably best known as the youngest entrepreneur and biggest troublemaker on the beach, Rico. His character on the show was always getting sucked into the family's problems. He delivered some iconic moments that are most of the reason that the show still holds up to this day. There's a good chance you've seen Arias in recent Hollywood flicks, but you probably didn't realize who he was. Since leaving the Disney world behind, he has been a part of several indie films that received stellar reviews, like the coming-of-age story Kings of Summer when he played Biagio, but most recently he starred alongside SNL alumni Pete Davidson in a film based on the comedian's early life called King of Staten Island, sprouting a goatee and tattoos everywhere. It must be in his contract that he exclusively works in films with King in the title or something. Number 6. Shia LaBeouf. Shia has been a controversial celebrity for a long time, becoming famous as one of the hardest people to work with in Hollywood history. Like many bad apples in LA, Shia got his start on the Disney Channel. At the turn of the century, Disney released a little show called The Even Stevens. The series followed the titular Stevens family with a focus on the kids, Ren and Louis, played by Christy Romano Bono and Shia LaBeouf. The show is considered one of Disney's best, spanning 3 seasons and spawning an Even Stevens movie that is one of the greatest pieces of cinema ever released. These days, Shia has adopted a more mountain man look, always sprouting like a big bushy beard when he can, and he's gone from bright and youthful to tired and annoyed. Hey man, we feel that. Following the show's end, Shia kept his acting career going strong, appearing in the much-loved classic Holes as the main character Stanley Yelnats, but it wasn't until his casting in the live-action Transformers series that he began to descend into madness. Since 2007, Shia's behavior as both an actor and a person has been getting worse and worse. His fellow actors have reported that Shia takes method acting just a bit too far. In the film Fury, he played a soldier trapped inside a military tank with his crew. The film was set in Germany in April 1945, and of course they didn't have access to plumbing or any kind of bathrooms at that time, so Shia decided to not bathe for the entire time he was on set. For almost 3 months, his fellow cast had to sit in a cramped tank smelling nothing but Shia. Number 5. Stephen Anthony Lawrence. Now this guy holds a special place in my heart, and his character Beans from the show Even Stevens, previously mentioned on this list, lives rent-free in my skull 24/7. I mean, like, this man is my spirit animal. For those unfamiliar, and hey, I'm sorry if you are, Bean was the weird neighbor kid next door. He would regularly drop in on the Stevens family to cause general mischief and shenanigans, and would often be swooped up into whatever wacky situations the Stevens would get into. Following the end of the show, Stephen appeared in several classic comedies like Cheaper by the Dozen, Kicking and Screaming, Cat in the Hat. Oh, sorry, that last one's a horror movie. His career seemed to be on the rise, but with puberty comes a change in priorities. Stephen opted to step back from the acting world and focus on developing his mental and physical health, but apparently the acting tick was never actually removed from his skin, as nowadays he teaches the youth of tomorrow through virtual acting lessons. He still has that unforgettable face, but age has certainly shifted him from Beans the boy to Beans the man. Number 4. Allie Grant. The Sweet Life of Zac and Cody was my favorite Disney show growing up. It followed the life of twin brothers living in a massive hotel with their mom, surrounded by iconic characters like Mr. Mosby, the hotel manager, Irwin, the maintenance man, and of course, Esteban Julio Ricardo Montoya de la Rosa Ramirez. Along with the slew of memorable adult characters, Zac and Cody also had a solid crew of fellow delinquents, including one Miss Allie Grant as Agnes. Agnes was the nerdy girl in school who was under the impression that Cody's got a little crush on her, and while she only appeared in a handful of episodes, she certainly made a long-lasting impression on fans. If you Google Allie now, she defines the word glow up. She looks stunning. Nowadays, Allie is still acting, appearing in smaller roles over the years, but she is currently working on her own TV series set in her hometown of Mississippi, so keep an eye out for that one. Number 3. Doug Brochu. Now, Doug was a cast member of the Disney series Sunny with a Chance, about a fictional sketch show and its cast behind the scenes. It was the first Disney show featuring heavyweight alumni Demi Lovato as the titular Sunny. Following the show's cancellation, Disney attempted to recreate an actual sketch show with the main cast, minus Demi, because apparently she got too famous working on Camp Rock, a movie that has just not aged well. While both Sunny and the sketch show didn't work out, Doug took the situation in stride. He may have starred in a few episodes of other Disney shows in between A and B, but nothing really stuck. And for the most part, he has remained out of the acting world. Doug is another example of a glow up gone great, as he appears to have taken very good care of himself, looking healthy and happy in recent photos. Currently, Doug actually works behind the scenes as a live broadcast producer at Esports Engine, moving from acting in sketches to covering video game tournaments. That guy's living the dream. Number 2. Aaron Musicant. While Aaron may not be considered a Disney star, he certainly made a mark in sitcom history when he played Hotel's hot lifeguard Gil on Sweet Life of Zac and Cody. His character spent the majority of his time on the show flirting with Ashley Tisdale's character Maddie at her candy stand in the Tipton's lobby. He was always talking about the water, but somehow Maddie was charmed and entranced by Gil. Well, if you've seen a picture of Aaron now, he looks more like a Gil than he ever did on the show. He's regularly seen with long, luscious locks and a bit of a facial scruff, but between his face and his fashion, he looks like he lives on the beach, but not in a house, more like in a shack of logs and seaweed that he scraped together from the ocean. His acting career hasn't gone very far, but he has turned into a very successful carpenter and building designer. Oh, here's hoping that hair never gets caught in a buzzsaw. And number 1, Orlando Brown. That's So Raven Raven is another series considered to be a part of the golden years, aka the early 2000s of Disney. It starred Raven-Symoné as the titular character, who has the ability to briefly see the future via unprompted visions. I swear, every time I explain a plot to an old Disney show, I just question like, who was on what when they pitched this? The show had a stellar supporting cast, including Raven's best friends, Chelsea and Eddie, who were played by Annalise Vanderpool and Orlando Brown. Orlando's time as Eddie was received well with audiences, as he quickly became a fan favorite not only for his comedic abilities, but his dramatic abilities as well. After Raven wrapped up its final season, Orlando's career took a bit of a turn. Surprisingly, he was being casted as small side characters or secondary characters with minimal screen time in film and TV. In 2022, he appeared on Dr. Phil's talk show, and he opened up about his struggles mentally and financially, but he also shocked audiences with his new look. He's drenched in tattoos and sporting a pair of demon eye contacts. Unfortunately, it seems that Orlando has fallen victim to the darker side of Disney Stars, as he was arrested for a misdemeanor after an altercation with his brother early last year. And those are the most unrecognizable Disney stars. Who do you think deserves to be on this list? Let us know in the comments below. Please like this video if you enjoy our content and you want to see more. Thanks for sticking around to the end. I hope you have an awesome day, and we'll see you next time.